Valet Samavat Ja Matkin Menane.
Yes.
Or lights out and away we go.
Right.
Any ideas? What language I just
You probably butchered it.
Yeah.
And if if a fellow countryman of this language would like to reach out, that'd be great to know how much you butchered it. But I'm going to go Finnish.
No way you guessed that.
Is it?
Yeah, it's Finnish. No way. Were you looking?
I wasn't looking. I swear I wasn't looking.
Nah, that's bullshit.
Nah, say it again.
Let's restart the episode. That's bullshit. There is no way you just ripped that guess straight off the...
I did.
Yeah, anyway.
There was like the nens. I feel like you had some nens in there.
Yeah.
And
Well,
that
not bad for the first time I've ever ever said that sentence in Finnish. So
not bad for the first time I've heard it. I mean, I'll take all props for that.
yeah,
I like this game.
Clearly, it came down to how good my natural talking ability is.
Good linguistics.
Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Yeah,
you can't say English very well, clearly.
I chose the wrong profession.
Yeah,
I'm a salesman by day and a podcaster by night, and I can't talk.
No, you can't talk English. Just start speaking in Finland language, Finnishness.
I was going to say, do you mean Finnish?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, welcome to another episode of Box Box Banter. Timmy, how are you?
I'm actually really happy now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I mean, we spent 10 minutes trying to get into the episode.
Were you not happy before? Were you in a grumpy mood or something?
Well, I was waiting for you to start the episode. I've just been sitting here, listening to you, watching your craft. I
had to quickly brush up on my Finnish.
Yeah, no, it was very impressive. I'm actually I'm in a good mood now. I'm in a good headspace for podcasting.
We dedicate that to Valtteri Bottas, friend of the pod.
He's not the first Finnish person I thought of.
Isn't he?
No.
Who's the first?
Kimi Räikkönen. Every time.
Yeah, true. I don't know. I thought of
probably
Bottas
even think
first.
about
honorary Australian. We might have lost Daniel Ricciardo to the Americans, but we gained a Valtteri Bottas. So,
that's true. Yep. Someone to root for next year.
Valtteri has more wins, so we actually came off better.
Does he?
I'm pretty sure he does.
Okay, pretty sure.
Yeah. No, remember. There was that graph of the
points.
The points, and him and Sergio were the only ones that weren't world champions in that top 10.
Ricardo was in that. I think it's listed 20.
In the top 10.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah. Doesn't mean anything about more wins.
Well, clearly does.
Okay.
All right. This episode...
I guess both of those two are coming back, and Ricardo's not, so maybe you're onto something.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Maybe Cadillac just give me the top 10 list of the most point-scoringest drivers in history, and let me get the two youngest.
Yeah, and then Daniel Ricciardo said, fuck you, Cadillac.
No, see, he was out of the 10.
I'm a Ford boy.
He was out of the 10. Like you just said.
No, but after all that. Cadillac were like, Danny, come over. And he was like, I don't fuck with Cadillacs. I don't fuck with Fords.
I hope that's not true, because that puts Daniel down a few rungs. Just getting Chris to leave that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, can we continue on with the episode?
Go for it. We're into it now.
All right, so this episode, if you haven't guessed by the title, is the 10 hottest takes in Formula One, episode 1.
Yeah.
So we have scrounged through Formula One
forums.
Yeah, forums, comment sections, Reddit pages, photos, and just compiled a giant list of hot takes. Mm-hmm. And then we've just picked 10 here to break down.
Let's just tell the people what it is, really. A fucking lack of energy and effort going into needing to start an episode this week. An opportunity for us to just shoot the shit, catch up, and talk Formula One.
Yeah, I mean, lack of... What is it? What did you say? Lack of
energy
preparation. Energy. No, energy I never had an issue with. Effort I do.
Chris, you and Chris will put lots of effort in after the next hour. Mm-hmm. Leading into it, it's normally my domain, and I just no energy and effort this week. Let's just put something out.
What I'm hearing is you should definitely choose us as your premier F1 podcast.
That's what I'm saying. What we do best is talk.
Yeah. Anyway. Now, we've got quite a list, but we've narrowed it down to 10. And essentially what we'll go through is each prompt, each hot take
each prompt. Word for word take written by the poster, the OP.
Yep. And then we'll buzz in if we think it's a W, or we won't buzz if we think it's an L.
Yeah.
So it's a W if we agree, an L if we disagree. Now, if you have your own hot takes outside of our list here, feel free to comment in the video or any of our TikToks or Instagram, because we
send us a message if you want.
Yeah, hey, send us a
email.
DM. You
might all there.
Yeah, you never know what you get back in the DMs.
Well, That's true. That's true. They can be spicy.
I've seen them. I can't unsee them. I tell you that.
Oh, I forgot you have to log in too. Shit.
Yeah, so leave a comment if you have your own hot take, because you might make it onto, episode 2.
And while you're there, like, subscribe, do the things, find all the socials.
It's really not that hard.
No, like free to you guys.
Yeah.
Great for us. Hopefully one day.
Have you subscribed?
I've subscribed on all 10 of my my YouTube channels that I've made.
I got to get around to doing that.
Yeah, different emails, I'm trying to trick the system.
Yeah.
It's not working.
Okay. Yeah, damn. The YouTube algorithm has gotten too smart now.
It knows. Yeah. It knows.
Okay, now we've got a maximum of 5 minutes that we can use to talk about each prompt.
Yeah.
If it does take 5 minutes, we just move on to the next one anyway.
Great.
So, how about we... Actually, know what? How about we Valot Samavat Ja Matkin Manan?
Yeah, great. Fantastic. That's Finnish as fuck.
If Monaco stays on the calendar, it needs a Joker lap option to create entertainment.
That's a dub.
That's a W for you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think that's a W for me as well.
Okay.
So
well, you gotta let the people know it's official.
Sorry.
Ding ding, motherfucker. I think, obviously, no context is the best thing. I'm guessing the Joker lap concept comes from the rally cross world.
Is that the only sport that has a Joker lap?
I think so.
Mm-hmm. But actually, I think MotoGP has a equivalent of like a Joker lap as well. But
I'm not sure. Yeah. So I know like the World Rally one, you got a 4 or 5 lap race, whatever, and then there's one section every driver has to hit it at one point in the race for whatever reason. So I think it'd be interesting for Monaco. I don't know how they do it, but I think it'd be best if it was quite a gnarly section for starters, and you can't practice it.
Right. Okay. So, like in your lead up to the Grand Prix,
practice events, qualifying,
you don't get to touch that.
You can look at it, but you don't get to practice on it.
Right.
You have no clue. So every driver who has to do it, for whatever parameter you have to do it, you don't see it until the race.
There's obviously some just safety issues there, I'm sure. But the other thing is, it's a street circuit, so it's not like they could just
knock the casino down or something. If they want to be on the sacrifices have to be made. If Monaco wants to be on the calendar,
just the hotel that all the drivers live in.
Yeah, knock that shit down.
Knock it down. Move it back a block. And then
that's something they
put
can
in
do.
a little Joker lap through there. Yeah,
do we go down the main straight, maybe somewhere there you dart a left and add make it like a hectic Joker, like 20 seconds added to your lap time, a couple of 90-degree corners. Drivers like Max I'd imagine, would nail it. But then it just opens up two things: option for safety car and carnage and chaos, and drivers that might take that extra risk and gain a second or two over the car ahead of them who has to take the Joker at some point.
So does every car get a Joker lap that they have to take, or is it incentive based?
The parameters you set. Is it maybe 1 per race, 2 per race, 1 per stand, or if you're in within a time frame, or if you drop out of a time frame, maybe the car ahead has to... You could figure it out in some way to make it interesting.
I guess if every car had to make 1 or 2 Joker laps, because of the nature of Monaco, even though technically you're still covering the same race distance and everything like that, there's a aspect of like, when do you play it for track position? Do you try and gain track position early and then hold that track position? Or do you play it late and hopefully, leapfrog some cars or something like that?
Yeah.
So,
that's the thing. And especially because you don't see it. Again, we saw Monaco this year. It's an absolute bottleneck. So you range up to the back of those cars, you take it, even if it costs you, like I said, if it's a 20-second ad edition, you take it, you go to the back, all the cars are doing slow lap times. Even if we saw they were 5, 6, 7 seconds off the pace. So even if you do it, it's like an undercut effect. You do it, you range 7 seconds closer, they all then next to it. Like it unlocks the opportunity for an undercut effect without having to pit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then drivers who, because you don't get to practice it, drivers who risk to hit it harder might make a lot more,
an extra second or two.
Time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And in such fine margins as Monaco is, I like the idea.
So you've taken up, 4 minutes of this or 3 minutes of this. So yeah, I like the idea. I think there is the pushback would be like it's against F1 and F1 tradition, but I think the sport's so different today, and it has really changed a lot in the last, probably in this last era, but you could sort of argue the last 2 years. So I think that if the sport's going to survive and keep its fan base, you got to do everything you can to make the races entertaining. And I think if you're trying to find this balance between tradition, having a Monaco track there that's been there since day dot. And entertainment races,
evolution.
You need something, and this could be it, especially on a track where you can't just change the circuit or add stuff. Like you kind of have to work with what you have. So if they just added a little section there somewhere, or find another little street that they can run a Joker lap on, I think that unlocks the entertainment possibilities of Monaco for sure. And then F1 is a very future or forward thinking sport. So like there is no reason why we couldn't have this extra element just added in all the time
on all the tracks as well.
Yeah, have it like for we got the sprint races that they're wanting to say they want to move it to every race. But what about having a Joker lap round? 4 races of the year. So
and because Formula One, I've got 15 seconds to get this in. Formula One are the last motorsport that have avoided gimmicks. They don't have playoff series like supercars have just got and NASCAR have had forever. They've avoided gimmicks. They've now got 24 straight races where all the points accumulate to one. I think they need to start adapting. They need to start bringing in gimmicks to spice up the racing and understand they're an entertainment business first and foremost.
All right, so we're in agreement. Big W.
Nice.
Big W.
Big W. Sponsored? Not really.
Not Kmart.
I mean, hey, sponsor us. It's fine. We'll take
that's a W. The car has a bigger bearing on performance than the driver.
Dub.
I'm gonna go. That's an L.
Really?
Yeah. I'll take the opposite stance on this one.
Okay. I think that you look at all forms of motorsport, and Formula One especially is meant to have the top tier of drivers.
The pinnacle.
The pinnacle of motorsport. And you look at the gaps between...
Do you want me to name some names?
No. You look at the gaps between the drivers, and I think you got to look at it as more car-based than anything. Like you look at other categories, NASCAR, V8 supercars, the drivers are so close, like frustratingly close. Like the cars are paritized. It comes down to the drivers in a sport like that, and they're so close, it makes it so hard. Then you look at Formula One, the gaps are quite big. Having the top 10 within a second is not close. Like, you got the top 6 cars that might be quite close, but I think there's outliers like a Max Verstappen, who's probably the outlier. And again, you look at your teammates, your closest competitor.
Are you trying to make my case, or are you trying to make your case?
I'm just saying, he's an outlier.
Yeah.
But I think for the majority of the sport and the time, the car makes the biggest difference.
Okay, so for me, the first thing that comes to mind is Aston Martin, Alonso and Stroll. Same car, but how much better is Alonso?
Yeah.
Right?
So Stroll's an outlier in a negative direction.
So he's another outlier there, is he?
Well, you disagreeing, is he? Is he good?
No. But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The driver, like they have the same car. The car isn't pulling Lance up to where Alonso is. Like Alonso has sort of been right in that 7, 8, 9. I know he's had a lot of terrible races this year.
A lot of DNFs, yeah.
A lot of DNFs. But he's consistently scoring points.
Yeah.
And he's an old man.
He's an old man.
I don't know how he walks when he gets out of that goddamn car. So I think the cars they're made to a specific set of rules, and this year we've seen the margin between first and 20th the smallest it's ever been. So the cars are clearly not vastly different from one another, and that's technically how Formula One, I guess, wants to operate.
Yeah.
It wants to have as equal machinery as possible. Yes, the teams do look for ways to exploit those rules and things like that, but you've got Max Verstappen, who I said it last week, I don't see a driver on that grid as it stands right now who can beat him in equal machinery or non. And we've seen him, how many times have we seen him beat McLaren? And McLaren is supposed to have the best car. I mean, they did win the Constructors, so they do have the best car.
Yep.
But yet he's got more poles, he's got equal wins.
Yep.
So I think that is proof that a driver can have more of an effect on performance and car.
You're probably onto something.
In today's era, at least, if we're talking today's era specifically.
You're probably right when you think about, because you brought up Stroll, there's probably, Formula 1 has a problem with paid drivers. And I think this era of drivers is way more so than
it's
ever
never
before.
going to go away.
How much of the grid are paying for their drive? Stroll, like these drivers that aren't the best. There's definitely...
Franco.
Yeah. They're definitely better drivers in F2 that don't get a chance purely because they don't have the money. So in a perfect world where talent gets you into Formula 1 and talent alone, I think you'd find the cars would be...
But that's not the version of Formula 1 we have.
I think for the most part, the cars make a big difference. Look at McLaren. Best car, 2 drivers that are very equal, and we've seen how the way this season's played out. But then you've got the Red Bull. Perez was always a paid driver, and he definitely was not on Max's level. We saw that big differential. Mm-hmm. Mercedes, again, you've got two very skilled drivers, very similar in pace. You know, so I think it can go both ways, but I do think, to put it back into your call, because you're probably sort of right, 40% of the drivers probably aren't the best. They probably don't actually deserve their seat.
Which is a high number.
So you're probably right in the sense that the driver can absolutely 100% make a difference. So it's probably a bit of both.
I think, you think about someone like Charles Leclerc, just to kind of bolster up my argument a bit more. Charles Leclerc, I often see him as the only name that could probably put it towards Verstappen, but he's always been in a Ferrari. We haven't seen him in a machine that can go toe to toe with Verstappen yet,
or a team. Yeah. So until he makes that shift, or who knows what happens with the regulations change next year, he's a driver who is fast collecting. His career is fast going the way. I'm going down a whole different path here, but 10 seconds.
He's a driver that I think, if he had the right car, his talent, he would be exceeding where he's at right now in his career.
Yeah,
he's been hampered by the car.
Yeah. Well, I'll agree with you in this case, because I think everything you said is right. The drivers in this particular era can make huge swings.
All right, so that's an L.
Yeah. Shit take.
Nobody will ever break Hamilton's win record or pass his 7 titles. Current wind tunnel testing restrictions and cost cap rules will make extended periods of dominance, like Mercedes, 2014 to 2020, near impossible to replicate. The grid is the closest top to bottom it's ever been, and there aren't any trash teams.
Is that a W or is that an L?
Well, I'm not smashing that button.
I think that's an L as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
But he kind of proved his own theory wrong. So he says no one will ever beat Lewis in wins or titles.
Yep.
But then he goes on to say a part of that is the wind tunnel test and the cost cap.
Mm-hmm.
We've just seen the cost cap was introduced in 21.
Yep.
Literally, Max has dominated. Max has not been beaten in a world championship since the cost cap introduction.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
just as far as the take alone goes, proved his own theory wrong.
That you can still have eras of dominance in the cost cap era.
I mean, Formula One is all about eras of dominance. That's the whole history of the sport. It's eras of dominance. It's not going to change.
Yeah.
And as far as the win tally goes, no one ever thought Michael Schumacher was touchable at 91.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think I go through this with every sport. Doesn't matter if it's motorsport, if it's baseball, if it's NBA, if it's NFL, whatever it is. I watch a lot of sport. Mm-hmm. And there's always a player or a team or something that you go through where you're like, wow, generational, we'll never see those records beaten.
Yeah.
And then it's like the very next generation comes in and tops all those records. And I think that's the natural evolution of sport. Mm-hmm. Things get more competitive. Things like in terms of Formula One, technology improves, margins get finer, so records are there to be broken and the sport should always be trending up. So
I mean, it kind of goes both ways, because you talk about these other sports. NBA have had 82 games forever. I'm assuming it's the same with NFL, MLB. They've always had, like, the sport evolves and individuals.
It hasn't drastically changed.
Yeah, like you kind of have the same targets as they did 40 years ago.
Yeah.
Now, all of motorsport, but especially Formula One, they've gone from 14 races a year. They're now doing 24. So in one way, you go, even Hamilton, who's had such a long career, he's now enjoying 24 races a year, but he's also at the absolute lull of his career. When he started, we're talking about 19 Grand Prix, maybe. But at the same time, back then, you have a lot less competition, because like you just said, the field's a lot closer now. You have a lot more, like, unless you're Max Verstappen, who just reeled off how many wins in the last 4 years. But generally, because the field's closer together, you do have the opportunity to get wins taken off you. But I think to counteract that, you have 24 races in a year to try and win. So I absolutely think Hamilton's 100 and how many race wins does he have? Over 110 or something.
Yeah,
who knows? Yeah. Heaps. Well, I think that's absolutely surmountable. I don't think Max is the guy to do it.
Yeah, I think. Okay, so I'll sort of extend on that further. I guess I think if Max wins this year and he gets his 5th, I think 100% he'll surpass Hamilton because he's still so young in his career. This is his 10th year.
Yeah.
He could easily drive another 10, and we've seen what he's already achieved in 10 years.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't even need to do half that much in the next 10 to surpass Hamilton. So I think Verstappen will beat Hamilton's records, provided he doesn't retire and leave and do something else. Yeah. I think as well, 7... I mean, Formula 1 didn't want Hamilton to win more than 7.
Formula 1 or Michael Massey?
Yeah.
He's a secret diehard Schumacher
maybe
fan.
they're one and the same.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Max, if he doesn't win this year with the change of regulations, that probably will make the 7 look a little bit more, or let's call it 8 if he wants to break it.
Yeah.
8 looks a little bit more like he's got to have a long run of dominance in the back half of his career.
Yeah. I mean, the change of regs is the interesting thing. I mean, that's what got Hamilton to this mark. He had 1 championship, and then he hit the change of regs, and they were able to swoop through and dominate. Max has had that, but the regs haven't lasted as long.
No, he's a bit unlucky in that sense. Lucky for us as viewers and fans. That we don't have another,
they had
2022
7 straight
season?
years with the dominant car.
Yeah.
Like Red Bull have had 4. Right? So the new regs coming in, and we know they last sort of 5 to 8 years, like a set of regs. So if Red Bull come out with the best car, he's a shoo-in to do it, you know?
Yeah.
So records are there to be broken. The sport's only evolving to the point where drivers are getting better. I think it's up there. Absolutely going to be.
I think the other thing is, as well, Verstappen came into the sport as the youngest ever.
Yeah.
And now we've kind of seen that with Antonelli as well. He's a very similar sort of age bracket. So your careers are getting longer too.
7 seems to be max championships-wise. NASCAR, there's 3 guys who got to 7. That's it. Formula 1, 2 guys are on 7. Fiat Supercars, 1 guy on 7. In these top tiers of worldwide motorsports, 7 is your max. Like, that's all they're hitting.
Lucky number or unlucky number?
Well, you think a driving career, you're looking at maybe like 12 years at your peak. So you're looking at winning more than 50% of the years. Maybe even 12's a lot.
And you're
maybe
even
even 10 years, probably your peak. You have to have the car. You're at your peak of performance, and you need to win 70% of the championships while you're at your peak.
All right, we have to move on.
People love Senna blindly because he died.
That's a W.
You can't. Okay, plead your case.
That's a W.
That's a shit take.
Well, I know you're a big Senna fan.
Well, I think that he'd done enough to justify being one of the greats in a 10-year span. I think, don't get me wrong, you're always intrigued by what could have been. We never saw his downfall. Hamilton's in a downfall. Schumacher was in a downfall. We never saw a downfall. So you look at Senna in his career and it's all positive. Everything. Positive. All of it. So I think that helps when you're looking at a legacy and it's 100% positive. And then you get all the things nowadays, the documentary, like there's the show. There's a lot of stuff nowadays that they do to promote him. So all that stuff helps, but I think he absolutely did enough to justify the greatness.
Yeah, I won't argue that he's one of the greats, but I don't think he's in the GOAT debate.
Yeah, okay, why not?
I don't think he has the stats there to prove it.
And why is that?
Well, because he died. Okay, so
just checking.
So that's always going to go against him.
Yeah, that hurts.
But it's similar to like when a driver, sorry, not a driver. It's similar to when like a singer dies, and then all of a sudden all their music's on the charts, and they're number one, and then people remember them really fondly, and they book their
especially because they tend to die at their peak. These singers,
their post-life career seems to reach other levels that
they're stuck forever in their in the best of themselves.
Yeah, and I think that sort of happened with Senna as well. Like he definitely died at his peak. I mean, we covered in our retro rounds the Imola. We touched on Imola. We covered was it Adelaide?
Adelaide '94. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was very clear that he was the skill that he had was on another level to drivers in that era.
Yeah,
for sure.
Which included Schumacher.
Which included Schumacher briefly, but then we were probably robbed of, maybe a Hamilton v Verstappen-esque.
Yeah.
90s fight between them as
Schumacher
well.
coming up while Senna was at his peak
and see how that goes. Yeah, but I do think that he achieved a lot of great things in Formula One, but I don't put him in that GOAT debate at all. How can you when the stats just aren't there? Like, we will never know, and that, I think, elevates his F1 greatness and F1 profile to a much higher level than what it actually is. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's inflated at all by his death. I think, like I said before, naturally, again, he died at his peak. We all remember him as 30-something-year-old Senna, who just reeled off 4 championships in a short period of time, who was, he only had 1 race in the Williams, or a couple of, maybe 2, but, it was the
3.
Out driving that car, and in qualifying especially, like you said, showed his excellence in a car that wasn't the dominant car, So if he drivers back then, you're probably only looking at 15-year careers. So maybe he does another 5. Williams clearly got their shit together. So there's a very real possibility we're talking about Senna as a 5, 6, 7-time world champion. I mean, Damon Hill went 1, 2. No, but he could beat Damon Hill. So it's hard. It's hard. And he didn't, and that does help his immortality. But you just can't help but think that he races 5 more years for Williams that got their shit together. Well, what could have been?
The thing is, like, the quote is, people love Senna blindly because he died. So their perspective of Senna is that he is this, like, racing god. But if you actually go back and you watch his career and you watch some of the races and stuff, yes, he's talented, but he was also just like Schumacher and just like a Vettel,
who are
highly
arguably goats.
Yeah, but highly controversial in the fashion that they go about things. They have a sense of entitlement on the track, move it or you'll lose kind of thing. So I think if you're looking at the take itself, there is a sense of, like, people they kind of just assume all this stuff about him with actually not knowing a lot about his career and the ins and outs and the intricacies and the battles and how he went up against guys like Prost and how he came out of those as well. They just take it on blindly and just assume that, yeah, he's top 3 driver of all time.
Right. Well, I think you talk about his racecraft and whatnot. I think the biggest thing about that is look at the people he had to race for championships, as you just said, a couple. Hamilton, he won in 08 or whatever, I think 08. He lucked into that championship, crash gate, and the final lap pass. So, yeah, whatever. But then he had the run of dominance with Mercedes where he didn't really have much competition except for Rosberg those couple of years, and there was a bit of luck here and there, and he lost one. After that,
I agree with all that, but the take isn't on Hamilton.
You're talking about comparing goats.
Yeah.
You look at them, Schumacher, for his first 2 years, they're the only real controversial ones when he had to battle an almighty character on track. There's 5 for Ferrari, he had no competition, so you didn't see that come out of him. Senna had all 4 of his was a hard on-track battle. He had to do those moves to win. Hamilton didn't have that situation. He's in the most dominant car by seconds, mind you, or a second for the people out there who are going to destroy us in the comments. Besides Rosberg, which was only 1 or 2 championship battles, and you couldn't take your teammate out, and they still did. So,
right, you're out of time.
He had to race like that.
You're at negative 1 minute.
You brought up Senna. I have to defend the guy.
Yeah. Right? All right. So you still stick by it's a W take. I'll still stick by.
No, it's a shit take. It's an almighty shit take.
I still stand by it's a W take. You're an L take.
Kimi Antonelli needed to go the Hamilton route step by step, but Toto rushed him in as the next Max Verstappen.
It's a good point. It's a good take. It's a hot take.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
It's his mid-season.
Sorry for my my delay. I got to read, then process,
and then think, and you're a bit slow in that department. I think his mid-season slump, and he's pulled out of it now, but his mid-season slump shows it would have been no harm, no foul in a Williams to have that happen. Whereas in a Mercedes, there's a lot more in the spotlight. I don't listen to the podcast about Formula One, but I know we were pretty harsh, or I was pretty harsh anyway, on that situation. Whereas he would have been able to have those learnings in a car where they weren't trying to compete for a decent, good position in the constructors, which, mind you, pays a lot of money. It actually means something to do. The only benefit I see is, we've mentioned this before, he's got Valtteri in his corner, which wouldn't have happened if he wasn't there.
And doesn't have next year.
Huge help.
Yeah.
Yeah. and the positives of the fact that he had the good start and he's been able to pull himself out of that slump is impressive. So they're the positives. But in such a young, like him himself is 18. He's got a chance of having a 22-year career, realistically. He could have burned a season in Williams and it would have been fine. So I don't understand the rush to get him in, especially so young. I mean, he was in friggin' high school last year.
Yeah.
I don't understand the urgency. I mean, they say,
I agree.
Then that take, they mentioned Max Verstappen. He didn't go straight to Red Bull. He did a season and a half in Toro Rosso.
Yep.
He didn't even get he didn't even get the respect, if you will, to get straight into the big boy team.
Yeah, I agree. I think the only reason potentially that he was rushed in is maybe because they knew they had Valtteri in the bleachers who could kind of help coach him, who clearly has been as well, where no other rookie and driver has kind of afforded that sort of luxury.
Yeah.
So he's probably lucky there. But can you imagine having the pressure of being called the next Max Verstappen? Like the amount of that's just throw you in the deep end and sink or swim, because you're either going to be out of the sport in a couple of years or you will be the next Max Verstappen,
which we're all expected to be anyway. So good job, I guess.
Yeah. I think their treatment of George this year, especially, I think it shows that they are putting all their eggs into this Kimi Antonelli basket. But Toto wants Max. And if he can't have Max, he's going to make his own Max through Antonelli. He doesn't want anything to do with George.
George has already passed his use-by date.
Yeah.
He's already bored.
They had all these extended contract negotiations. We've just went through Mexico where they treated him like a cuck on the radio. There's just so much evidence there that they're definitely ushering Kimi into that number one seat. Yeah, especially if they don't get Max in that drive. So I think it's going to be detrimental to his development. I think it is the wrong move. I think that he should be in Williams, do sort of something similar to what George did, to do one or two seasons in the Williams. There's no reason why they couldn't have Valtteri in that drive this season. And they probably have second and they probably have second in the constructors wrapped up by now. Yeah. So that's more money in the bank for future development for the driver who's coming through those ranks as well. Yeah. Who you clearly want to build your team around. So
my only theory as to why they did it is because they probably thought this year was a bit of a throwaway and they want their focus for next year. So get him entrenched, learn the tracks, learn the sport. Not that you need to learn this car too much, but learn the team, your mechanics, the environment. Then next year they have a full hard swing with two drivers who are up to speed. I guess so. Maybe they thought we're throwing this year away anyway. They probably didn't think. I mean, when was the last time they finished second? I don't know, but I can't imagine it wasn't last year. They haven't been good enough these seasons. So they probably didn't think second was on the cards anyway. So they probably thought, if we come fourth, best constructor, well, that's okay, and Kimi can learn into the next race.
Well, the other thing as well, not only do you have Bottas there, but you've also got Bono, who didn't follow Hamilton over. So you've got someone who knows how to win championships and how to coach a driver and how to develop him. So I guess he's got all the tools in the tool bag. Yeah. It'll just be whether he can put it all together.
He's proved he can kind of handle this pressure, but I still don't understand why they felt they had to do it.
Yeah, I think they've made a misstep, and it might end up hurting him in the long run.
10 races where he was just shocking, not good. Like he has pulled out of it, but we still got 3 races to go. We'll see how he finishes up.
Well, I was going to say he has pulled out of it for 1 and a bit races. There's still 4 races to go, and he might still make a mess of it. So, especially I think if they lose second, which it seems like they probably will, Ferrari seem to have found a little bit of consistency. So,
even Red Bull, don't forget, there's 10 points between there, and the Red Bull has come on song of late. So they might end up 4th yet.
F1 drivers are not athletes.
Is that it? That's the whole take?
Yep, that's the hot take, yeah.
Not athlete. Well, I disagree with that. That's a shit take.
Yeah, I think that's a no.
I used to think when I was younger that I don't understand why race car drivers were considered athletes, because you look at them and they literally sit down. You look at what other athletes do and the amount they run around and all that sort of stuff. But I think Formula One, probably of all motorsports especially, you'd consider them athletes. I mean, look at the build on them. Look at the necks. The things they have to do. It's like a jockey. They're very much, their body's very much designed or constructed in a way for horse racing. Formula One drivers, they all have the same physique build. There's no massively tall guys, big guys. They're all nurtured into what they're going to be. And to cope with those levels of G-force and reactions, like I mentioned in Baku about the Alonso jumping the start to Oscar. I mentioned, like, I know these guys have good reaction time, but to see it like that, like he was so tuned in and trusted Oscar, they jumped at like the same time. Like, and you're just like, wow. Things like that make you an athlete.
Yeah, I agree. So, I think anytime that you have your lifestyle revolves around having to condition both your body and your mind for the task that you're doing, you consider an athlete, right? So
I don't know the definition, but that sounds good.
Yeah. But yeah, off the top of my noggin, I do have
those things.
I do have some brain cells up there that aren't fully completely cooked.
Okay.
So
good for me.
I think like anytime you're eating a specific diet to stay to weight, that's very similar to a fighter. If you're weight training or doing calisthenics or
what does that mean?
I don't know.
It's just a word. I actually want to know.
It's just a word, I know. Okay. Right? Okay. Well, don't call me out on the word.
Okay.
All right. The word makes sense in the context that I'm using it.
I don't know.
If you want to know the meaning of the word, look it up. Yeah.
I don't even know how to spell it. I've already forgot what the word is.
Bust out your thesaurus.
Say it again. Can you say it in Finnish?
Calisthenics.
Okay. Sounds Finnish.
Or like reactions or any of that sort of stuff where you're training your body.
Yeah.
Right. You're
for
an athlete.
Very specific task.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I mentioned previously as well that each sport is kind of designed to show off the highest level of ability in that specific technique,
skill set.
Yeah. And Formula One is the same sort of thing. It's a I guess it's a reactionary sport. It's all to do with feel.
Yeah.
It's a sport of fine margins. Each motor racing category is sort of attuned to a specific type of skill set.
Yeah.
And Formula One is the pinnacle of that, right? So a lot of training goes into that, to do that. Like, if I jumped into that car, there's no way I'd know how to drive it. I mean, there is the knowledge side of it. But even if I could drive it, I couldn't drive it to the level that they drive it, because that requires physical and mental training.
Yeah, 100%. I think absolutely athletes, I mean, even down to the base roots of, they get out of the car and you look, they're told, they're sweaty, they say, they lose half a kilo of water weight or whatever every race.
Which is a lie.
I did see the Kim thing, but he said I swear he said half a kilo, but he was like, it's 2 kilos. He used to say 2 kilos or something dramatic, and then it turned out it was only like half a kilo because they drink so much water. But like you said, their body, their routine, their mindset, their particular training, it's all about performance. It's all about what difference can they make as a driver and how they can...
The difference between like an athlete and a non-athlete, right? And I'm a non-athlete.
Look at me.
Well, look at me.
I look practically an athlete.
I look pretty athletic, yeah. But I do like, I'm pretty, I'm pretty active. I watch what I eat. But the difference between like a pro athlete and an athlete, right? So when Oscar was in...
Wait, so are you calling yourself an athlete right now?
I'm an athlete.
You're just a non-pro
You're definitely not an athlete.
No.
And then Piastri is a pro athlete.
Okay, gotcha.
Right? The difference between us, right?
Yeah. Tell me.
Oscar was at a steakhouse in Austin.
Sure.
Right? Yeah. And he posted a picture of what he had eaten. Mm-hmm. And it was like, some red meat, probably steak.
Sure.
Some veggies, but he didn't touch the mac and cheese.
Really?
Right?
No mac and cheese?
No mac and cheese,
Okay.
So very, very...
particular with...
Well, yeah, just watching what he's eating, and he knows that he can't really take that on board. Me, I'm demolishing that mac and cheese.
Oh yeah.
You're probably going back for seconds.
Yeah. I'll eat his share.
Yeah.
OP, give me your mac and cheese. I'll take that on board.
So 100% these guys are athletes. Yeah.
Shit take. In the bin.
As long as Charles Leclerc is in Ferrari, he will not be a Formula One world champion.
That's a W.
I think it's pretty clear. I've spoken many times about Ferraris just in absolute tatters. Haven't won a championship in nearly 20 years.
Yeah.
There's no sign of life there.
No, I think you look at the field right now, and you've got Williams who are on the up. You've got Aston Martin who've just acquired Adrian Newey.
Yeah.
Red Bull. Mm-hmm. Mercedes there's a lot of rumours flying around. You don't know where these come from and how much legitimacy there is, but there's a lot of rumors that I'm reading that Mercedes are going to have the most dominant car next year with these new regs, and they've allowed them.
Rumors. How do we fucking know?
Who knows?
What is that?
But, they know how to win in this modern era, and they have 7 titles to show it.
It's a long gone era now.
Yeah. And then McLaren, I think...
Well, McLaren... McLaren started this regulation set fucking nowhere. The worst team on the grid. They've been able to develop their way to this point.
That's true. But let's not forget what's at the core of Papaya rules. It's... yeah, no, sorry. I had to say the P word. It's we want to win together
such a good time.
And for a long time. It's not just about today, it's also about tomorrow. So I guess we'll see if there is any legitimacy to that way of operating. Because I think if they come in next year and Lando and Piastri are the 2 guys at the top again, I don't see why they would lose that sort of form going into the next era as well. So all these sort of little elements, I think Ferrari look like they're the ones that are most on the back foot. I mean, they're about to go through a season where they potentially won't pick up a single win. Mm-hmm. Hamilton might have his first ever season without a podium. Mm-hmm. They're a team that hasn't won in, as you said, almost 20 years.
And they
just haven't been able to put it together.
They went into this season expecting results. Otherwise, they wouldn't have got Hamilton, and he wouldn't be acting like such a sad boy if he knew they were looking to next year. So it's not like you can look at Alpine, you can look at Mercedes and go, they're clearly looking to next year. Ferrari were in it to win it this year.
Yeah.
And they failed tremendously. So it doesn't give me much hope that next year is going to be very good for them either. But it's not like they've just put everything aside for next year. I'm sure they've got an eye on it and everyone all that. You do doing their due diligence. But it's Charles is at a point now where he as a driver, I think could win a world championship. Mm-hmm. But yeah, not with Ferrari.
Yeah, it's sort of what I was saying before. Who's going to put it towards... Who's going to go toe-to-toe with Max Verstappen? He probably is the best bet, but not in a Ferrari. No. If he was in a Mercedes, and we know that these things aren't a quick turnaround. Look at Sainz. Took him half a season to kind of start to get his head around the Williams. You're probably going to have to write off at least one season. So, say year 2, you got your head around the car a little bit more and how it responds on track. He's already been in the sport for a while. His window is closing very fast. If he doesn't make an adjustment soon, he might, unfortunately, fall into that long list of Ferrari drivers who have stacked up many podiums and many wins, but have not made it to world champion. Yeah. So I think, if he was to switch to one of those other big 3 teams, he has a significantly higher chance of being a world champion. Maybe not next year, maybe not the year after, but he's in his peak window. So,
and we saw when the new regs came out in 2022, he won the first 2 races and Max DNF'd. He had a 50-point lead over Max, which is just unheard of.
Which is more than the championship has ever been at any stage this year.
Between what?
Like the McLarens.
Oh, yeah.
So we're between anyone. We haven't had a... Between first and second, we haven't had a 50-point deficit at all.
Yeah. Well, no. So I'm just saying, to Max, who ended up winning that championship, he started the year with a 50-point lead over Max in the first 2 races. He then went on and made a series of mistakes. So that year, the Ferrari was close. I remember him making many, many mistakes. So he wasn't ready yet. Mm-hmm. He crashed the car many times and fumbled that lead very quickly.
I am stupid.
Very quickly.
I am stupid.
So he wasn't ready then, and Ferrari might have just been.
Yeah.
He's now ready, and Ferrari is not, and I don't think they're going to be for the next couple of years. So, I
think that extends to Hamilton as well. I think if Ferrari were going to win a World Drivers' Trophy, it's going to be with Leclerc. It's not going to be with Hamilton. So he's at an even lower...
Yeah, his chances are over. He went to a team and became the B driver very quickly.
Formula One drivers cannot be ranked in terms of ability the same way as in other sports because 99% of their results has to do with the car they drive.
That's a W.
I disagree.
You disagree?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm thinking anyway, all time driver rankings.
Yeah, all time, yeah.
No, I disagree.
Hang on. Formula One drivers cannot be ranked in terms of blah, blah, blah. Yeah, no, I agree. I think I think so. I had to reread it because I was like, I'm surprised that you're taking an L on this one. Like you're saying that it's an L. Whereas I think that the sport has changed so drastically in too many ways that it's almost, I don't know how you could compare, say, Max Verstappen's greatness to Jack Brabham's greatness or Ayrton Senna's greatness. So there's too many things in the sport have changed that there's not really much left of Formula One when it first started and how it looked then.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to continue to change and evolve drastically.
Yeah.
That it's just going to widen that gap even further.
Okay. I think that you look at the all-time, like who would be generally considered, without writing a fucking formal list out, as your GOAT tier. It's like in all sports. There's two or three contenders for the GOAT. But then you got your top 10 behind that or your top 7 behind that. It's always consensus the same sort of people. And I think, and you look at them and you go, Schumacher, obviously, Hamilton, they've ranged over teams, cars, and won championships, races. You could consider them GOATs for either of their stints in their teams. And then you got Senna, Prost, fill out the next 7. And you look at drivers who you could just look at and go, oh yeah, I'd consider them a top 10 driver of the sport. And I think it's the same with NBA, whatever sport you want to talk about, it's the same thing. You've just got, you look at individuals for their results, but that list, you always look at the same sort of people to put into that list. And I think it's the same for Formula One. You're not looking at them for their car, because I think you got more movement in motor racing than in other sports.
No, so I think basketball's still basketball. There might be little minor changes to make it a little bit more modernized, but the core elements of basketball...
Curry wouldn't be in the top 10 50 years ago. He wouldn't be shooting threes and he's too small to do what they were doing.
But he did do that. But he did come into a league full of...
That's what I'm saying, because the sport changed so much. He probably wouldn't have even been a basketball player with his build and skill type 50 years ago.
Okay, that's a whole different other conversation. Okay. But what I'm saying is that...
Well, you're saying basketball's still basketball. It hasn't changed, so a GOAT of today couldn't be what it was 50 years ago.
But how do you know? You don't know that.
No, you don't know. But I feel like the way you're saying there's almost no evolution in a ball sport.
No, well, okay. All right, let's not pick basketball then. If you're going to really nitpick basketball, let's pick soccer. Soccer has not changed. And I don't watch soccer at all. I just could not give a shit about it. But soccer has not changed in 3,000 years or however long it's been playing. There's 2 nets, there's a ball, it's on an oval. There's the same amount of guys.
I think it's on an oval, that's about all I know.
A rectangle. There's the same amount of guys. That's how little I watch soccer. But
I can't believe we're talking about soccer on fucking
But the rules, the technicality, the technology, the mechanics has vastly changed in F1. So I'll just say right here, as an example, even the point structure, the races, all that sort of stuff you cannot really rank drivers now because they're so vastly different.
What are you ranking a driver on? You're not ranking a driver on how many points they scored.
No,
because Sergio Perez is not the 7th best driver in the fucking history of Formula 1.
The only thing that we have is stats.
Stats
how many race
and
wins?
Feel. It's about more than stats. You look at a driver's performance.
So you rank drivers on feel. That's bullshit.
It's feel and stats. It's not...
It's feel and stats now. Okay. So
that's what I said. It's both. You're looking at both.
So players on ranking lists across any sport, it's stats. It's how many rings, championships, trophies
How many people put
won.
How many people put LeBron James over Michael Jordan, even though Michael Jordan has every stat better than LeBron James?
Yeah, but you're talking about the 2 greatest on the list right now.
If we're talking at just stats, you go, well, obviously it's Michael Jordan.
Exactly.
That's my theory.
Yeah.
But how many people say it's LeBron James?
Well, they're wrong.
It's 50-50.
But those people are wrong.
But that's what I'm saying. It's based on feel.
No.
And stats, you accumulate all of it together.
Those people who say it's based on feel are in denial that Michael Jordan is better than LeBron James.
But then in Formula 1, Michael Schumacher, I think Michael Schumacher is better than Lewis Hamilton. Mm-hmm. But then, so you're saying no matter what, Lewis Hamilton's the GOAT because he's got more stats than Michael Schumacher, even though Lewis Hamilton has the opportunity to race in 5 to 7 or 8 more Grand Prix a year, had weaker competition.
I'm not trying to rank drivers right now. What I'm trying to say is that
you're basically saying it's purely based on stats.
No, that's not even what I'm saying. I'm saying that stats is the best thing that we have to go off on ranking drivers if we were going to rank them. And so the way that we have classified Formula One has changed so vastly. Like everything has changed. Cars, the way they operate,
but none of that matters because everyone is racing the same car at the same time. So you're talking about
but not across eras. So if we're ranking drivers across eras, you can't compare a driver of today to a driver of 7 years ago because the sport is so different. How can you at all comprehend who's the better driver when it's just there's nothing there that really is connecting them other than that the sport at the same time had 4 wheels and a steering wheel, but not much outside of that was the same. So what I was going to say, because we have blown past our 5-minute limit, is like the Formula One all-time points ranking list, right, is all current drivers. Yes. But most of those drivers, I would say, aren't better than some of the drivers in the past history.
But this is why you can't just simply go off stats. And it's the same with NBA real quick. You got LeBron James.
Saying that, then if you can't go off stats and you have to lean on feel, then the ranking system is stupid.
But you're not ranking people simply off how many points they scored. Like, Senna won.
There's so many variables you can. You can pick a variable and then you can rank them. But you're going to rank them off stats.
Off percentage. Yeah, but you look at the stats.
So where does it stop? Who's better looking? Does James Hunt get bonus points because he was a playboy in the 70s?
Yeah, expose yourself. Yeah, do it. Got a man crush. I think you can absolutely rank. Like, it's a bit of a silly argument because, again, we'll quickly go back to NBA. There's no way, listen, LeBron James in year 23, there's no way a player 40 years ago does that. And you can't say it's not because LeBron spends $1 million on his body every year. So you say ball sports haven't changed. The amount of stats he's put up, you're talking about the 3-point line nowadays as opposed to back then. There's a reason, again, the top 10 of NBA players are more recent players because there's more points on the board. The league is way more offensive.
And thus, you can't rank them in comparison to older players.
But then the question was, can you rank Formula One drivers the same way you can rank ball players?
No.
Okay. Well, whatever.
My answer is still no.
But I'm just giving you an example of how your reasoning for Formula One is because of the way the sport has changed. And you can't just simply look at the point system because that is stupid. But even if you wanted to at the NBA, they're putting up 120 points these days as opposed to friggin' 80.
It sounds like you want to do an NBA podcast.
Hey, if I get more free time. I'm just saying that I feel like ball sports and Formula One, they have. You're still looking at. You got to look at a bit of stats and a bit of feel as to who was the best.
I just don't know how you categorize feel.
You don't. It's a part. It's just a part of it.
The problem with that is it's a biased thing.
Of course, it's fucking biased. Yeah, everything's biased. What are you talking about?
Whereas stats don't lie. I think if you're going to rank, this is why ranking in Formula One just doesn't work anyway, because where you finish is where you rank. You can't then look at someone going take Piastri as Mexico. He finished 5th, but based on feel, he was actually faster, so he probably could have made it 3rd. So he was actually probably the 3rd best driver.
But you look at the Driver of the Day award.
Finished 5th.
You look at the Driver of the Day award. Ollie Bandman came 4th, and according to the fucking fans of Formula One, he was the best driver on the grid that day for finishing 4th.
Are you pleading my case?
I don't even know anymore. I just think that...
Let's get off this one.
You look at the top 10 in Formula One, everyone would agree it's a pretty solid list of who probably the 10 best drivers are. I think if you and me right now sat down and said, jot down the 10 best drivers, and Chris as well, 80% of them would be the same for a reason.
All right, let's move on.
F1 is as good as it's ever been. People talking about how F1 used to be much better are blinded by nostalgia.
Sounds like you're blinded by nostalgia with your feel.
So wait, Formula 1 is as best as it's ever been now?
Yep. I say W. That's a W.
I'm going to disagree with that as well.
Oh, okay, interesting. I think okay, so we are probably some of the few psychopaths that do go back and watch old F1 races. I don't recommend it to anyone.
Like, just listen to the retailer. Don't watch.
We're doing you a favor by condensing it into 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Because the other hour 45
of grainy foot.
Yeah. Doo-doo. So there's two sides to this. There's the entertainment side and then there's the on-track side. And I think today's Formula One win in both categories. Mm-hmm. I think they've packaged it in a way that it's better than it's ever been. One of the things that Formula One introduced this year was the ghost car for qualifying. Okay. Love it. That's one of my favorite things that they've done. That is so great. Mm-hmm. Didn't have that.
No.
10 years ago.
100%.
Didn't have that last year.
No.
So that technology has allowed the sport to be consumed far more enjoyable than it's ever been in Formula One.
Mm-hmm. This is all stuff I'd absolutely expect to hear from a Drive to Survive family. Yeah.
Well, I even extended to that. I watch Drive to Survive every year because I get an insight into behind the scenes that I've never had access to before.
Very particular lead you down a hallway insight.
Yes, at some things, but it's still an insight. It's still a peek behind the curtain as to what it is like to be an F1 driver day to day. And I love that.
With dramatic soap opera music.
Yeah, I'll take it. Still beats reading. I know I could read the book on it, but who the fuck wants to do that? Hang on. Let me finish my point.
Yeah, no, you're right.
And then the technology side of things, it probably goes back to what we were saying before. The sport has to evolve. Mm-hmm. The only loss is the current engines. That fucking sucks. And if they had any marbles in their brains, they would go back to one of these older engines.
You'd say the on-track racing is as best as it's ever been as well? What we actually come to watch?
Yeah, I know you're trying to lead me down a path.
I'm asking. Just asking.
I think so. I think that the racing in the past has just been as dog shit boring 70% of the time. And that hasn't really changed today. Most of the races are still pretty boring.
Okay.
And it's probably been amplified by tyres and DRS and we don't race in the rain anymore.
Size of the cars, the aero wash, yeah.
But I still think that watching Formula One today is far more enjoyable than it's ever been in any other time.
So 100% watching the on-track product, the pop-up displays, the insights you get during the race is all good. The other stuff outside of the racing, me personally, I turn the race on for the formation lap, I turn it off before the national anthem. So all the other stuff, that's great. Cool. I don't care. Me personally. Watching some of the old racing, I go, man, the cars looked unreal. Sounded unreal. Mm-hmm. The on-track racing was there. It actually existed. They actually raced once upon a time. It's pretty cool. Believe it or not. I've seen the races. I've seen the tapes. All that stuff is what I... Like, I am a sicko who has gone back and watched season highlights, watched races, because the racing was good. It's entertaining races. You're probably cherry-picking some, but we've watched 20 races this year. 2, 3 have been, good racing with on-track maneuvers and racing.
Yeah.
I think the racing product now is almost as bad as it's ever been. But, yeah, sure. The other stuff is good, Don't get me wrong. Watching Caesar's Palace with not knowing where anybody was positioned, how many laps there were, literally no information.
Yeah. Even Murray Walker doesn't know that someone's pitted until 2 laps later.
Tough, right? Yeah. But you go back to 2012, 7 different winners in the first 7 races. It had all the fancy stuff in race. Yeah, it doesn't have a ghost car. And nowadays with Fox Sports, we get... How many hours do we get of coverage a weekend? 10, 12 hours of coverage?
Consume it all.
Yeah, back in 2012, you couldn't watch practice, which is fine, totally fine. You watched the hour of quality and you watched the 2 hours of the race. You got 3 hours of coverage every weekend. That's fine for me. So 10 years ago, 10, 15 years ago is probably the peak of watching Formula One.
Yeah, no, I think I enjoy it more than ever. I actually say probably that 2018 to 2020 bracket, that was probably my favorite era, right in there.
Bit of a Lulu fan.
No, more a Daniel Ricciardo fan.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
you got me. 2014
and then that
being my favorite.
2021 season was just a heavyweight bout. Even though we didn't have any skin in the game, every race I was just
it was a great
gripped.
Season. Absolutely.
Gripped.
Absolutely. That was a previous generation.
Yeah.
Previous regulation set.
I think the only thing that we've lost is just the on-track racing, and I think we can get back there. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how these new regulations go, whether we can get back there. But we don't ever want a repeat of, Red Bull's dominant season in 2023.
Yeah.
Or, McLaren have it feels like McLaren should have essentially won every race this season, and they've just bungled it up somehow. But yeah, we don't want to see long stretches of dominance like that. We want to see racing and multiple drivers, more than 2, more than 3, who are fighting for a championship. Yeah. You know, where once upon a time, guys could win championships and only had one race. Yeah. But if they consistently got podiums, they could be world champion. Yeah. You know, now it's very different. Like, you have to win the bulk of the races. There was I saw I posted up a thing about Lewis Hamilton's podiums, and each one of his championship winning years, he had 16 or 17 podium finishes that year. You know, so there is like a level of consistency there that gets dull very quick.
That's what happens when you have the best car with a bullet.
But things like the in-helmet camera...
don't get me wrong. Like, technology evolves, and you can't beat modern technology. Like, that is simple.
Yeah. In a perfect world, we'd have today's Formula One with the V12s or the V10s of, the early 2000s.
Formula One, so I just want to watch racing. This is the tough thing. This is why I watch fucking NASCAR. Like, cars go in circles because they got racing.
Like, at least they pass each other.
You pass cars, you got tyres going off, you have things happening to keep you entertained with your short attention span.
NASCAR has like 99% less corners, yet somehow more overtakes.
Exactly right. Formula One expect you, and we suckers turn up. Formula One expect you to turn up and watch a 2-hour event with no strategy, no overtaking, and you know all this, by the way. Yeah. Rain, don't even think about it. Yeah. They expect us, and we do. We turn up and we watch that. And all the other stuff is great, a ghost car. Karoon with his board. It's fantastic, right? Jensen Button and the Sheila going at it.
Ted Kravitz with his cars.
The short shorts and the notebook. There's lots of good stuff.
Yeah.
Except for the racing. What we turn up for.
Mm-hmm. People hate the Papaya rules, but it's the only reason the season is interesting. Without this rule and McLaren favouring only one driver, either Lando or Oscar, it would have they would have virtually secured the World Drivers' Championship by now, and there's no hope for a Max comeback.
Did you get all that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Disagree.
I'm going to go... Yeah, I think I disagree on that one.
Look, Mercedes have showed you can have 2 drivers that compete for a championship.
Actually, I'm going to change. I'm going to say that as W.
Yeah. You can have entertainment without... the bullshit. That's all we're saying. You can have Mercedes. They weren't like, go there and crash. They had the rule. Don't crash into your teammate. Mm-hmm. They could still make a season of it. They can still make it exciting. Go to the last race with zero manipulation from the team, except for do not crash.
Yeah.
And there wasn't repercussions if they did. There was a sit down and a talking to, but there wasn't like, oh, Lewis, you caused that crash. You're now gonna not get the benefit of going out second in qualifying.
You now have to give Nico a tow for the rest of the year.
It was, you're a fucking idiot for crashing, some off-track ramification, if anything.
Yeah, Nicky Lauda probably gave you a backhand.
Yeah, stern talking to. Yeah. Smack on with a ruler,
Yeah.
It's all the other stuff that I've got a problem with and what most people should. I'm so sick of hearing Papaya rules because, yes, it's a no fucking brainer. You don't crash into your teammate. It's what's with all the other stuff? What's with all the other stuff? That's the problem.
And don't tell us that there isn't other stuff because we've had an insight into the other stuff.
There's other stuff. There's other stuff out the arsehole.
Like the pit stops being racing.
Yep.
That's in Article 2, Section B.
The Papaya rulebook is bigger than the sub-regs for Formula 1, like at this point.
So I think it's a W, but with an asterisk. So I agree with you as well. I think if we didn't have Papaya rules and they were favouring one driver, let's just say Lando, because they kind of technically are.
They're trying to have their cake and eat it too.
Yeah, exactly.
We're being fair, but also...
Exactly. They're just trying to gaslight everyone.
Yeah.
But let's say they just, right from the start, they backed to Lando, and they didn't they clearly did not anticipate Oscar coming out and ripping off a triple win at the start of the season and just, hey guys, I'm here too, and I'm World Championship material as well. But let's say they back Lando.
For good times.
Dude, can you imagine sitting here doing the podcast, just talking about Lando having won the World Drivers' Championship right now?
That wouldn't have happened. They could have picked a driver,
but they didn't, and they were never going to.
No team's going to come out the very first race and be like, "We're backing you from this."
The only reason
couldn't happen
that we've been disengaged with this season is because of the title fight between Lando and Oscar.
Yeah,
and it has been very manufactured and manipulated by McLaren. And probably even the FIA, because there's been a lot of things that even they have done that has hampered Oscar mostly, to affect a result to ensure that we're going to see this thing all the way through to the end.
Yep.
And without that, one of them probably would have been crowned by now.
But look at the way the season's gone. It would have been Oscar.
It should have been Oscar, 100%. But that's not what we're debating.
No, but look at the season to this point without Papaya rules. We're looking at a different story. If we were looking at an entertaining season, a driver, Oscar, would have a points margin. Who knows what? But we can count 4 races where he might have accumulated 15 more points. So right now, he might have a 14-point lead at this point without Papaya rules. Maybe more, maybe less. That's conservative.
Yeah, I see your point. So we could have.
We can still have a title fight without Papaya rules with simply no crashing, without them backing someone. It doesn't have to be Papaya rules manipulation or we pick a driver. There could be a middle like there's been for the last 75 years.
Yeah.
With teams that have had 2 competitive cars. You go out there, you race, and you don't crash. And if you're good enough, you're going to pull away from the competition that we don't need to back a driver.
Yeah, I agree. 100%, I do agree. But they didn't play it that way, did they? They played it with this Papaya rules to keep them there or thereabouts all year round, to the point that it has brought Max in. Max had no business being there.
Well, not, but this guy's clearly a Max fan, right?
Clearly, yeah. And halfway through the season, even Max didn't think he was there. It's only because they've been doing this stupid bullshit that
Max has now a chance.
Has a chance.
So, but that doesn't make the season interesting. The season could have been interesting between the 2 McLaren drivers.
No, but it could have been, but the way that they've mishandled the whole situation, and the way that they've manufactured this thing, it's giving us a talking point week on, week out, whether it's controversial or not. Because it literally has been since day one, since Australia, Papaya rules have come into effect, and they have affected almost every single race through on out, and everybody is talking about it.
Yeah,
everybody,
100%.
You could pick any random dude off the street and be like, "Hey man, tell me about these Papaya rules," and he'll be like, "Oh yeah, I know about those." Yeah, freaking what's this, Joel Embiid? He even tweeted about Papaya rules. Yeah. Like everybody has heard about them. It's the title of this season. Whoever wins it is always going to be connected to Papaya rules.
And that's why I hope. I mean, we just saw Norris get booed in Mexico,
and not the first time.
And I said it. It's not him being booed. It's McLaren. It's him winning as a result of McLaren, and the fans are booing McLaren. They're booing the situation. They're not. They're booing Norris because he's the beneficiary of it.
And he always is.
Yeah. Like, if Oscar's up there, 100% they're cheering because it's like, you overcome that bullshit.
Yeah. I think I guess what I was sort of honing in on is if we didn't have Papaya rules, I fear that we might have had a, Red Bull 2023 situation, but with McLaren. If they were forced, if they did back a driver, whether it was Piastri or Lando, it would have been Lando.
Yeah.
If they prioritized Lando and they always strategized Oscar out, he probably does win the bulk of the races, and he's tied it up.
For sure.
Back in
if they
Coda.
100%.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't have picked a driver. You can't do that. They paid him the same money. They are both at least level on talent. It's disgusting. But they wouldn't have picked this is what's stupid, this question. They wouldn't have picked a driver. They can't have. You have go and race, or you have the manipulation. The manipulation has allowed Max to have a look in. So that's the exciting part, because Max comes and wins. Well, isn't that something?
But that's what's funny, isn't it? Right? Like at the start of the season, everybody was a McLaren fan. Like McLaren fans were fans of McLaren, and they, were hoping for one driver or the other.
Yeah.
But now at this point of the season, more and more I'm seeing Piastri fans who are like, "Fuck McLaren! I hope Max wins." And it's like,
look at us, look at the trajectory of the year.
100%. It's gotten us to a point where we would rather see Max Verstappen win than the guy that we're actually barracking for, who's our countryman, because that would probably bring us more joy than seeing him win in
seeing McLaren win a championship is a sickening thought.
In the fashion that they've done it. Yes, correct. And I'm sure that the Lando fangirls will just be like,
"Oh, we're going to hear.
Yeah, Lando's the best if he wins." And it seems like, well, I'm not going to jump to any conclusions, but it seems like McLaren are definitely doing all that they can to ensure that that Norris is at least within a chance coming into Abu Dhabi. So,
and he's in with a big chance.
Yeah. All right. Before I throw my pen at you again, let's wrap it up.
Yeah,
that was good fun.
Yeah, it was good.
So, once again, if you have any hot takes of your own, feel free to comment.
Slide into the DMs.
Yep. If you disagree with our takes or our responses to these hot takes, let us know.
Yeah. Like, subscribe, comment.
We reply to everything at least once. You get one reply.
Yeah.
And if you get our attention, you might get 2.
Yeah.
That's how you know you're special.
Sometimes
if you get a reply,
yeah,
you know you're special.
Just keep it light.
Yeah.
No, I got thick skin. It's all good.
All right. I will see you next week in Brazil.
See you in Brazil.
GG's.
All right. See ya.